Welcome back. In this series of videos, we are focusing on how to make sure our Word documents are accessible to all students, and we'll be focusing on tables in this video. The process is different in Microsoft Word 2010 for Windows than it is for Microsoft Word 2011 for Macs. There are separate directions. This video is going to be focusing on Microsoft Word 2010 for Windows. If you're using Microsoft Word 2011 for Mac, please go to morgancc.edu/hub for directions on that. Before we get into the technical side on how to make sure that the code is set up correctly, let me show you the principle of making a table. If we have a screen reader that is reading the table, it's going to be reading it left to right, top to bottom. So you need to be sure that your content is laid out in such a way that that would make sense to be read in that order. For example, this table here, grade percentage, A, 90 to 100, B, 80 to 90, C, 70 to 80. That is how the computer is going to read it. It makes sense in that format. Make sure that your first row is your header. Unfortunately, you cannot designate your first column as a header. So make sure whatever your first row is, that it has clear descriptive words in there, so that way it can be understood if read by a screen reader. Now let me show you how to make sure that your table is in the correct format. So to insert a table, you're going to come up to the Insert tab, select Table. If you hit this little arrow right here, it will give you the options of how many rows and columns that you want. And I'm going to do a 5x4 table for this example. If you come look up here at the work ribbon, you can see that Design is selected under your table tools. You have to be sure that your table is selected in order to see your table tools. If you select off, that option will disappear. Also, if you select a different table, it will not apply to this table, your second table. So make sure that you have your cursor in one of these boxes here. Go up to Table Tools and Designs, and you need to be sure that your header row is selected. This one came as a default. If it is not default, make sure that you have that selected. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to come over here, go back to Table Tools, and select Layout. Come over here to the Data section and make sure that Repeat Header Rows is enabled. It seems counterintuitive, but this is what we need to do to make sure that the table is in the correct format for a screen reader to read. Again, after you make your table, make sure that your header row is selected and that your repeat header row is selected. And then you can begin to add your text into your table.